And welcome to another episode of the Tar Heels Insider Podcast right here on SI. I'm your host, Grant Sashray, one of the beat writers here on SI. Of course, I'm the beat writer for the North Carolina Tar Heels. And the Tar Heels themselves have kicked off fall camp, so make sure to check out all of our coverage for the Tar Heels on SI. You can also follow us on Twitter, Tar Heels on SI. And then also you can follow us on Facebook, same thing, Tar Heels on SI. And also just a reminder, all of our content on the site is free. So I just want to put that out there for y'all because we got a lot of content going on with football in regards to fall camp. Belichick, Matt Johnson's back. The defense looks like it's going to be really good. It's a whole lot of stuff going on for Tar Heel football at the moment. But one of the biggest takeaways from fall practice, which there weren't really a whole lot, right? Um, the offense practiced on one field that was closest to the media viewing area, while the defense practiced on the other side of the field, closer to the baseball stadium. So we really didn't get to see much of the defense, but we did get to see a good bit of the offense. And one of the things that stood out to me the most was the first team offensive line. And I knew Austin Bask was going to be the starting offensive lineman, right? I knew he was going to be starting offensive line, but he's starting at center. I mean, he's starting at guard, not center. Crystal Kelly is. And that didn't shock me because UNC, when they submitted their preseason all ACC selections, one of the four of the guys they mentioned were Andrew Simpson, uh, Chris O'Kelly, Thaddeus Dixon, and Austin Blask. And they had Austin Blask as guard, and they had Chris O'Kelly as center. So that let me know right there. That's kind of those two guys are going to be starting. And I also had the feeling that Trevion Green was going to be a starter. And even though I didn't think that Aiden Banfield was going to start, just because of the amount of depth you have on the offensive line. I thought that would have gone to, what's his name, Daniel King. Daniel King, who transferred in from Troy. He was a two-time All-Conference selection in the Sun Belt, so I thought he was going to be the other starting guard just because of experience, and also his success on the gridiron at Troy. But the one thing that shocked me though was Miles McVay starting at right tackle. I thought it would be Willow Steen, and I've talked about Willow Steen on the podcast before. Two-time conference selection, just like Daniel King, and neither of them are starting. They're now on the starting line. Now, of course, a lot of things could change, right? There's a lot of depth in this offensive line, and just because this is the starting line for the first game of the season doesn't mean that this offensive line could change throughout the course of the year. There is a lot of depth on this offensive line. You got two all conference selections on the offensive line. Oh, actually three, because Chris Kelly was an all conference selection at Holy Cross, which I know that's the FCS level. I know that's a whole different football. It's still all conference, and there's three all conference selections on this offensive line, and the one that I didn't think was going to start is the guy who's starting, and Daniel King and Willow Steen are not on the starting line, and that kind of shocked me. But that just shows you the strength of this offensive line. It really does. The fact that you could put any one of those guys in there, and you'll be okay. You don't have a negative connotation towards this offensive line because there's an amount of depth, and that's also you have to give a lot of credit to Bill Belichick and offensive line coach Will Friend for identifying the guys that they want. They got experienced guys. They got guys who had all the accolades in the world. And there's really no separation between any of them. And, I've written an article about this beforehand, and I really do think that the offensive line is the strongest position group for this offense, just because of the lack of production in the skill positions, right? That's returning, right? Omarion Hampton's gone. J.J. Jones is gone. Byron Nesbitt and John Copenhaver are gone. Those are two of your 5 leading receivers from last year. So you're replacing most of the production on the offense from last year, and even quarterback. Right now, Mac Johnson's coming back, but Mac Johnson missed the whole entire year after he broke his femur in the first game of the year last year. And you really don't have any production come back. You have some guys coming in, but there's really no production for the offensive skills. The only position group that really didn't experience any significant loss on the offense was the offensive line, because you got Austin Blast coming back. You had Travion Green coming back. And then you also had Aiden Banfield coming back. All 3 of those guys started last year. Aiden Banfield only allowed 1 sack last year. Right, and Austin Blasky was one of your more solid players on the offense last year. Travion Green, of course, had his issues with pass blocking. That's been well documented. But he's still a returning starter. He still has a lot of experience. So, plus also the guys you're bringing in. You're bringing in, like I said, Chris O'Kelly, who's an all-conference selection at Holy Cross. Daniel King, an all-conference selection at Troy. He was 2-time first-team All-Sunbelt. And then Willow Steam, who was a starting left tackle for a top 5 rushing offense in the country the last 2 years. It was a 2-time All-Conference USA offensive lineman. And last year, he was first team. So this is an extremely, extremely deep offensive line room. And I'm really excited to see these position battles. I know a lot of people are talking about the quarterback battle, but the offensive line battles, man, that's where it is. And I know a lot of people are like, don't really, I know the offensive line is not really a flashy position, right? It's more grits than glory than anything else. But it is definitely one of the more intriguing. This will be one of the more intriguing storylines throughout the fall because of the position battles going across the offensive line. And literally it's probably happening everywhere. It's not. Center, guard, and tackle. And it's not because anybody's bad or anything like that. It's because there's a lot of depth. And right now, Bill Belichick's trying to find the best guys to play on Saturdays. I know they have a couple games on Fridays, but it doesn't matter, right? He's trying to find the best players to win games. It's the same mentality he had in the NFL. And he also literally just straight up admitted that he literally told players to kick rock. Well, not kick rocks. Obviously, but he told them, hey, we're going to bring some new guys in. And right now you're just not a part of the plan. The only 2 guys were really, some of the few guys who were safer, guys like Amari Campbell, so guys like that who ended up transferring. But other than that, most of the guys who were there last year left, and they brought in, 50, 70 new players. It's incredible. The Tar Heels have a lot of massive turnover in their roster. I don't think some people don't realize how much they turned over. But that's part of the new regime. Bill Belichick wants the best guys to be on the offensive line, just like he wants the best guys to be under center at quarterback, the best guys to be a cornerback, the best guys to be a linebacker. That's what he wants. He wants guys who fit what he's trying to look for. Guys who are accountable, guys who work hard, guys who have heart, guys who love the sport of football. That's what he's looking for. And I think if there's any group on the offensive side of the ball that kind of resembles what he's looking for, it's the offensive line. So, and I think the offensive line has a chance to be great. I don't know who is going to be the stars at the end of the day, But what I do know, whoever is going to be the starters at the end of the day will be the best guys that will be the guys Belichick thinks are the best to win games every single weekend throughout the fall. With that being said, I am your host, Grant Sashray, the lead beat writer for North Carolina Tar Heels on SI. Make sure to follow me at Sashray Grant, last name, first name, on Twitter. And also make sure to follow Tar Heels on SI on Twitter and Facebook as well. And also make sure to check out our site. It's for free. All content's for free. So make sure to check it out as we continue our fall camp coverage for your North Carolina Tar Heels.